Tonight on DC News Now, is the battle over the FBI headquarters over? Why it may not be a done deal, and bracing for impact.
It's been pandas, pandas, pandas nonstop. Everybody comes here to see the pandas.
How the giant pandas departure could impact local businesses.
Some light rain is on the way for Friday. We'll let you know when you can run into the most soggy weather.
Stretching your dollar, the holiday shopping hacks to stay within your budget.
Plus, Operation Warm, how firefighters in the DMV are helping those ahead of the winter season.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
And thanks for joining us on this Thursday for DC News Now at 4. I'm Mark Hall.
And I'm Annalisa Gale. Developing now, controversy is already surrounding the federal government's decision to build the site for the new FBI headquarters in Prince George's County, with some now questioning whether it will even happen.
Yeah, DC News Now has obtained FBI Director Christopher Wray's email to his staff calling the decision political and wrong for the Bureau, saying that the selection was about playing politics and not best for the Bureau's needs.
Our political and government reporter Leonard N. Fleming is joining us live now. He's been talking to political leaders about this situation today. Leonard, what are you learning?
Mark and Annalisa, look, this was supposed to be the beginning of a celebration for Maryland officials and their selection by the General Services Administration for Greenbelt, Maryland to be the next site of the Bureau. But this is not yet a done deal, as Director Christopher Wray has raised concerns that some say could have Congress derail the deal. The decision by the GSA to choose the Greenbelt site over one in Springfield, Virginia has sent shockwaves through government and political circles. While Maryland officials were set to celebrate the decision after more than a decade of lobbying, FBI Director Wray wrote an email obtained by DC News Now to the Bureau staff about conflicts of interest in the site location and that it's not the best site for the agency. But Prince George's County Executive Angela Alsobrooks said that she and Maryland officials are ready to dig in and get the decision done for Maryland.
Well, I think the decision has been made. I think the decision should be honored. GSA has made the decision. They were tasked with the responsibility for making the decision about the best site. And, you know, the value of this decision, I think that the opposition that you have heard to it, I think reinforces for me how valuable this is for all of our communities. There are many, many men and women in the FBI, and in fact, about 40% plus of them live in Maryland. So this decision is not just about the director.
Director Wray actually also wrote an October 12th letter to the GSA leadership saying basically the same things that he wrote to his staff today. And we asked the FBI for comment, and we haven't heard anything back yet. Guys?
Talked about a lot of politics potentially in play here. What happens here if Director Wray, who, as you know, was nominated by President Trump back in 2017, what if he wants to get Congress involved? What will members of Congress end up doing or try and do?
Well, Congress controls a lot of the purse strings for this project, so ostensibly they could derail the project. At this point, Maryland officials have put in about $200 million, but they need millions and millions more to get this project done. So at this point in time, they need Congress for the purse strings. Reporting from the FBI headquarters, Leonard N. Fleming, DC News Now, back to you.
Leonard, thank you. Meanwhile, the chairman of the Fairfax County Board of Supervisors, Jeff McKay, is speaking out about the decision this afternoon, saying county leaders are disappointed with the decision to move the headquarters to Greenbelt. He says earlier in the year, he and other leaders, Virginia leaders, met with GSA officials and felt confident that the Springfield site would be chosen for the headquarters. He also says the aging warehouse at the Springfield site represents a huge problem for the GSA that must be transformed, given the timing of the announcement and the Virginia location's proximity to the FBI's training center in Quantico. McKay says politics clearly played a role in the decision.
The decision is made in a vacuum the day after Election Day in Virginia. I mean, how can you not think that politics played a role in this? And to me, that's just disappointing. Again, for the federal workforce is disappointing.
And McKay says he expects the next federal agency relocation to go to the Springfield site.
In Prince George's County, a UPS truck driver was carjacked earlier in Glen Arden this afternoon, and police say they found the truck on Elk Avenue. The driver was not injured, and so far no arrests have been made.
Well, breaking this afternoon in West Virginia, Senator Joe Manchin has announced that he will not seek re-election next year.
I've made one of the toughest decisions of my life and decided that I will not be running for re-election to the United States Senate.
This gives Republicans an opportunity to pick up a seat in the state. Manchin became a senator after winning a special election in 2010 following the death of Robert C. Byrd. Manchin says once out of office, he will travel and try to unite the middle.
All right, taking a live look now at the National Cathedral on a very mild Thursday early evening. Temperatures in the 70s in parts of the DMV.
It was so nice out there, meteorologist David Matson, that I walked out the house forgetting my coat. Forgot the whole thing.
I didn't even grab one this morning.
That's
so
right.
yeah, hey, we didn't even need them really with how warm it did get out there. And this was just a brief bit of warmth before we see some drastic changes heading into Friday and onto the weekend. Now, folks, the other parts about what's going on out there today, it's not just the warm temperatures. We've actually had some rain showers crossing the DMV. Earlier today, it was up across western Maryland into West Virginia. We had a couple batches of showers that have since dissipated, and now any leftover rainfall is along and south of D.C. and I-66 across mainly northern Virginia. As a matter of fact, in Fairfax, Prince William counties, we do have some of that rain coming down across Manassas, Centerville, up into Vienna there, just starting to rain along the Beltway. So a heads up if you're going to be out and about at all here over the next hour or so this evening. We are going to see some of that rainfall out there, and this has a chance to make it into the district. Our first rainfall here in quite some time, and boy, do we need it. Now, temperature-wise, we still do have some of that warmth built up across Virginia. Fredericksburg is sitting at 80, D.C. 74, but we're seeing signs of that cooler air showing up already, 50s and 60s back to the north and west. So the general trend here as we go into the evening time, showers will remain possible for the next couple of hours. So keep an umbrella handy just in case. And then as we go into the night, temperatures really start to tumble as we're looking at a chilly Friday ahead. Just how cool are those temperatures going to stay? And is there another round of rain on the way for Friday morning? We'll have a full look at your forecast coming up here in just a bit.
All right, Damon, thank you. Well, the man who was shot and killed in yesterday's shooting in Camp Springs has been identified as 24-year-old Anthony Day Roberts. It happened before 10 p.m. on the 6300 block of Auth Road. A second man was also shot. Police say that his injuries are considered non-life threatening. A $25,000 reward is being offered in this case.
Well, as the war in the Middle East continues, it's hitting closer to home for a Falls Church, Virginia restaurant owner. Now, we're learning that Khalid Mekki owns Bawadi Mediterranean Grill, and much of Mekki's family is in Gaza. He says his niece Reem, her husband, and 3 daughters died when a bomb hit their home this week. And he says her 2 sons who were outside survived. Thousands of miles away, Khalid says his heart is constantly breaking over what's happening in his homeland.
A lot of people come here and say, how can you do this? I swear, I don't know how. Sometimes with calamity and problems, God gives you some patience too.
Well, coming up at 5, our Haley Milon will have much more on this family story. Well, tonight, D.C.'s giant pandas are in their new home in China.
That's right, and they touched down late this morning. Meanwhile, their absence at the National Zoo is leaving behind a big hole in the community, especially in their old Northwest D.C. neighborhood, Woodley Park. Randy Bass joins us live there tonight. And Randy, what is it like in the community 24 hours after their departure?
Yeah, it's the first full day here in Washington, D.C. without pandas, Mark, and I can tell you already the vibe is a little bit different. We've had a chance to talk with business owners today. They're trying to help us imagine what things might be like here in a post-panda world, in a post-panda Woodley Park even. And you'll know still when you're here, of course, panda memorabilia, panda art, panda everything decorates city blocks here along this storied stretch of Connecticut Avenue. People have poured into the zoo to see the star attraction for years, especially so in recent months as their departure nears. It was great for nearby businesses, but now their famous next-door neighbors, Meisheng, Qianqian, and Shaoqiji are gone, and so is some of the big foot traffic through the neighborhood.
It's been pandas, pandas, pandas nonstop. Everybody comes here to see the pandas. People come from around the world. They wear panda costumes, and they're buying our panda pops, and they're going to see the zoo. They're buying stuffed pandas, and just a lot of excitement about pandas.
About 80% of the traffic that goes, the foot traffic in the neighborhood, comes because of the zoo, and this will have some impact. Nobody quite knows what the impact is going to be of the departure. I think we'll see that around the spring.
And the zoo, of course, still a big driver for business. The zoo itself isn't going anywhere. These businesses are very much looking forward to the holidays here in Woodley Park, here at the zoo. The big event that everybody looks forward to every year, Zoo Lights, is getting underway here in just a couple of weeks. And that's sure to bring more people through the neighborhood and more people through the doors of these storefronts here along Connecticut Avenue. Back to you.
Yeah, Randy, we certainly hope so, because the businesses have already been through a lot of changes in recent years. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, Annalisa, they really have. These businesses that we've talked to have been here, over the last 5, 10, 15 years. They've been through the pandemic. They've been through federal shutdowns, which of course impact the Smithsonian and the National Zoo. When people weren't able to come to the zoo several times throughout the last several years, these businesses have had to change and adapt, and they're planning to do the same now that the pandas aren't here anymore. Live in Woodley Park, I'm Randy Bass, DC News Now.
All right, Randy, thank you. New this afternoon, service workers rallied outside of Reagan National Airport demanding better working conditions from their employers.
Whose city? Our city! Whose city? Our city!
The main demands include health care options and paid sick leave, which workers say they don't currently have. Now, they also say that these demands come after a summer full of industry-wide dysfunction. Both local and national airport workers came out for the demonstration. They said it's important to stand together against those poor working conditions, no matter which airport they service.
We are just fighting for our rights, because if we are not able to work at the airport, no flights will fly out.
Well, the group started with a rally at Terminal 2 and then marched through the airport to the historic terminal.